Welcome back to the channel. All right, it's time to conclude the top 10s for June. Remember, we do this every June, every December. We've been doing it for years, have a lot of fun. This is different than my general tier list, which will be out here on Saturday, the 28th, helping you out with all that July 4th summer sale goodies that I'm sure you'll be accumulating from that sale. But this is my own top 1 through 15 without the expertise and the knowledge of the Illuminati, showing my own bias. If you haven't seen 15 through 30 and then all the top 6 for each class, I highly recommend you go and watch it because I'm going to do my best not to repeat what I've said. I'm going to talk to you about if I think these champions will be in this top 15 or really top 30 in December, let you know where I prognosticate they're going. And let's just jump into it. If you've been following, you know I have not included the 6-star lock champions in the rankings. It is so difficult to say exactly what we think they're going to be. Myself and the Illuminati do our best to do that on the general tier list each month, but then we actually test them. Red Guardian being a perfect case, out as a 7-star, actually moved up. Apocalypse as a 7-star moved down because we just don't know and we got to test them. So the 6-star lock that I will say, and I did do some 6-star locked in the 16 through 30. So if you don't hear them, they're probably in that one. And that these are the one that I actually think would be in the top 15, or at least, yeah, honestly, I look at them and they all would be. And you're going to hear me actually do 2 tiers for this top 15 here. And we're going to start off here. I'm not going to go in depth about any of them really, but we've got CGR, who, you know, amazing, broken, the armor breaks. If you can't armor break, and go to the SP3, get the Fury. Hulkling, who is incredible, didn't really need to crit, right? Like the 2 massive Furies. I've shown this from time, I was like on Hulkling day 1, CCP testing, can get to 2 bars of power before the defender gets to 1. It's really fun. Bring him as a 7-star. Hercules, who I honestly think, if it was available as a 7-star, I'm not saying I wouldn't want him. I genuinely think that Serpent is more valuable to an in-game account. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully one day we get to find out. Kingpin, who I think Kabam is more scared of than is really, like, he's great. He's one of the few that I'm like, I don't know if he makes the top 15 of this list. I really don't. I think he's in the top 30, but I don't know about the top 15. And then we get to like what I'm genuinely calling like the broken, like the OP, but I like that. I like the broken. I like the OP. The most broken, the most OP champion in the game, none other than Kate Bishop, right? I remember saying this in CCP testing, and I told you the new best skill. Congratulations, we did the best. You literally just have to SP1. That's it. Just get to an SP1. If you can do that, you got a shot, right? Like there's no one more simple to play who also does the most single source of damage in a single SP1 that literally like 2 champions are immune to. I mean, I guess it's probably like 4 now, but I don't think any of them reside in the science class, which was her class wheel. And that's just 1 SP1. I love her. She's amazing, Kate. You the best, Kate. Come be a 7-star with us. Scorpion, and it's like funny, like it's fun, guys. Like have fun with this. Where they were like, you know what we should do? We should make a champion that can have 3 different immunities. You get to pick them. You get to keep 2. And then you also have 3 different damaging sources. And whatever you pick as your damaging source, you get the immunities for the other ones. And then we will add in a synergy with Venom, a phenomenal champion who we're giving a relic to, which will make him even more overpowered. And that's going to give this champion, Scorpion, Furies to increase what is already wild damage. And then we're going to give him the Petrify of the SP2, and his signature ability will allow him to heal up to full in Battlegrounds if you make a mistake. It's just like, I love it, man. Whatever mind came up with that, can you make more champions for this game, please? Because it's fun. It is fun. And then Absorbing Man. You know, I don't think Absorbing Man got his due as a 6-star. I think it was one of those ones where like the really high skilled players, and even like my skill level, like, you know, really saw the power of Absorbing Man, and we're like, dude, this guy is ridiculous. Like any sort of matchup that's trying to like armor break me, or I can pick my immunities, pick my resistances, and then they threw in a synergy that gives them like poison immunity as well, and then that changes his damage type. And like the big ask was to intercept or like punish with a light, I think it was, but he heals up, so you can take blocked hits for all day and it's going to be fine. And you punish up and then you heal, and like he was usable in Necropolis. Just made an absolute joke out of so many hazard shifts. I know they've shifted the war map around, I think, to kind of like probably to try to neutralize him a little bit. And we'll see when he comes as a 7-star. I mean, they've already done 2 new war maps in the last 3 months. By the time he comes as a 7-star, if that's a year from now, they might be on like the 30th or 50th new war map. We don't know. Clearly they don't know either, but he's a ridiculous over like so many abilities into one kit. Like that's one of the ways you can tell is if the damage is so absurdly accessible easily, or if it's just like they just kept throwing in abilities, just more and more and more. Oh, what if this happens? Yeah, you should be able to take that too. And you know what? And it's fun, and they would be in the top 15 in my opinion. Okay. All right. So we will start off with the number 15 champion, none other than herself, Titania. And I hear a lot of you. I know some of you just threw up in your mouths. I know, because I read the comments and I want to hear your thoughts. It is fun. I enjoy this. We're sharing knowledge. We're also entertaining, and it's supposed to be a conversation. And the reason why she's 15 and not higher is that I do understand and I do respect that, like in your longer form questing, and by longer, I'm like, we're talking like you're getting like your million health pools and up. She's not as dominant. Remember, we're talking about the top 15 champions in the game. In Battlegrounds, she is still a champion that can dominate her matchups, right? But also, because of that whole haymaker and the unstoppable, unblockable, and indestructible at once, passively, just take stuff that you otherwise couldn't. Like, she's a champion you can draft and just be like, it's like 99% certain that my opponent's going to draft someone on defense that I can reasonably think I might be able to take with her. And I don't know if there's any other champion in the game that's like that. You realize you might not get the fastest score, but if you place a good defender, you really do put yourself in a chance to win. And in Battlegrounds, it's often about giving yourself the chance to win more often than you give yourself the chance to lose, and just playing a lot and getting your score up. And she does that. She's great in War 2. She's buff immune. She's a phenomenal champion. She even has suppression, like reducing the combat power rate. I've shown that before. She's amazing. I love her, but I'm not putting her in that broken tier. I am not. The next one we're going to talk about is a champion that hopefully no one has. Is a 7-star Human Torch, going to be for sale here at the 4th of July. Which unfortunately I'm not going to be able to stream. I'm going to be on vacation. I'm pre-recording all of these for you guys. I'm going to be on vacation all week out in Colorado, having a lot of fun, getting in some nature and stuff like that. So I hope you all have a great sale. I'll do my best to record and get that out. Anyways, the point is Human Torch is ridiculous. He's phenomenal. I don't think he's going to be the best like multiple fights in a quester. Often quests, you don't need that anymore, right? The way they do things, it's like the bosses, or there'll be a fight or two on the lane that are really difficult. You use his pre-fight for the Nova Flame, and then of course in Battlegrounds he's going to be ridiculous, which means he's also going to be ridiculous in War. Anything that's mystic, anything that has energy damage, he's going to light it up for you. He's really absurd, and I think in many ways he is broken. But I've tested the 6-star. I've not been able to test a 7-star yet. So he may actually go up. He may actually go down. Once I'm able to do that, is his block proficiency, because he does take a lot of blocked hits. I did the video on this, testing the 6-star rank 5 Ascended, so people get an idea of what they might be getting in the 4th of July. We'll see, but I feel pretty comfortable with him in the top 15 at number 14. Moving on to number 13, we've got one of my rank 4 champions in Kushala. I don't think you need to have her awakened, but as I've said multiple times, once I got her awakened, I saw why people wanted her awakened so badly. The pauses, keeping the pauses up is significantly better and easier with this. Also the passives and the damage source. Keep in mind, one thing I always want to point out is I do use it every once in a while, is she does have the degeneration off of the SP3. It can do some pretty hefty damage. I remember when I was doing like Necropolis Odin and fights like that in Necropolis, I would use the SP3 to help get her going. She's fantastic. I don't think she's moving down, right? Even with the presence of all these mystics, unless some more new mystics come out, but I really hope Kabam put some time into some of the other classes. I think Mystic's in a phenomenal place right now. And so I really think she's going to be in the top 15 in December. And I really think she has an argument to be higher, but we're about to get to something and you'll see why she is where she is. Let's go ahead and move to number 12. And I do feel like this is a bit of a cop-out. I will admit this, but I talked about it in my tech rankings, and hopefully you've seen them. I think phenomenal things have been happening to tech lately. And a fair amount of that is the development of the mutant class. And a lot of these like soft defensive asks, if you think about like Jean Grey, Gentle, Dust, where you can kind of take them with anyone, but there are champions that are going to be like hard counters, like a reverse control immunes against Jean Grey. And then I've shown the video on how to defeat her. I showed you like how to defeat her with someone who's really not a counter in any way, shape, or form. And what that's done is that's taken these tech champions, Bastion being an example of one, but he's the newest, where they're excellent champions. They really are. We test them on the CCP server, and I can tell you, like, hey, here's all these abilities. He's got this power reroute. He's got this pursuit off his heavy. It's really great. He's obviously very good for onslaught with the bleed and the poison resistance and this heal off the crush. And then it's like, but I don't, I'm not sure what else is really asking for him, right? Well, with all of these mutants coming out, and they do have defensive ask, but they're nowhere near the absurdity of like a bullseye or a serpent, for God's sake. It's given these tech champions a real place, I think, to shine, and has really increased their meta relevance and therefore their value in the game. And so I really can't separate them. I've done stocks up videos on 2 of them. I mean this. And a lot of you have asked, like, well, how would you differentiate them as far as rank up's concerned? And so that's what I'm going to do today. Is for Bastion. If you're like really looking for that onslaught counter, like these newer mutants are the ones that are giving you trouble. And even Jean Grey, if you can get down the reverse controls, I showed that in how to defeat her, okay? And if you're willing to spec into collar tech, he's still great without that, don't get me wrong, but I found it really helpful in him in controlling the power, getting into the SP2 with your, I think it's your disintegration up, as I think that's what it's called. It's off your heavy. You want that up, okay? And then you're gonna throw your special 2, get those Furies, you come in for your special 1. And I know this sounds like a lot of moving steps, but this is what I'm talking about, especially if you're expecting to collar tech. He moves through it, he's getting so much power, and he's preventing the defender from getting it too, that you can run through that loop very fast. And he also has the pursuit off his heavy, which is part of what you are wanting to do. You see the special 1 here, right? If infection is active, for every personal disintegration effect on the opponent, inflict another instant disintegration. That personal disintegration will come off of the heavy attack there, right there. So utilizing the pursuit off of his heavy, pursuit is what's stopping evades basically, right? Is part of his damage loop, right? We've talked about this on this channel. When a champion's utility loop is similar to their damage loop, or it is the same, I really like that because you're not having to make a choice as much. Now, against non-mutant champions, it does get quite a bit more difficult to keep up his pursuit from his heavy because it doesn't last as long. So I found like in Battlegrounds, it's not quite as accessible, but you get the spirit gauge for your striker. So it kind of balances out. That's where I would use Bastion. Now, I happen to just think he's really freaking cool. So I will probably be ranking him up early, even though I don't necessarily need that. And I love all of these champions. If you see me rank him up early, don't think that means I now think he's better than the ones we're about to mention. He's the newest. And so I'm the less certain on him and how he's going to work out in the game. And that's why I've got him at 12. Next, we will move on. In fact, I can just click the tech button to make this a little more smooth. Next, we will move on to Ironheart. And I mean it, as far as like being material to your account, I think all these champions are literally the same tier and they're not broken. We've done the video on Ironheart. Here's what I would say. 1, if you love playing her, she's the one for you. 2, especially if your account is maybe not as mature as Massive. Like mine's not the most massive in the world, but it's definitely on the bigger side, the whaley side, the blubbery side. If yours isn't there, I think Ironheart jumps up significantly because she does have all these immunities, and not to the extent that Scorpion had with those 3 sources of damage, but she does have 2. 1 being an energy one in Incinerate, 1 being a physical one in Rupture. Once you get those up, I think you can block you can parry, you can well-time block the non-contact attacks. You have anti-miss. She has a really, really smooth playstyle and just tremendous amounts of SB1s. And I know some of you are like, hey, if you medium into a special 1 and you're very close to special 2, then you can get the special. And you are totally correct. It's very much how I feel about playing Vox, where there's a way to play Vox at their apex. But if you miss, you lose it all. And with Shuri, if you go for the SB2, which will kind of like explode all of the debuffs, and your opponent doesn't die, or you don't get back to the SB1 fast enough to pause them all, you kind of are starting all over again. In all the fights I showed you, you saw the speed which she took those fights. I can see like in Battlegrounds, we really feel like you have to go quick. Maybe you are trying to accentuate that, get as close to the SB2 as you possibly can, throw the SB1, then race to the SB2. My thinking is, unless I feel like I absolutely have to do that, I'm just gonna keep throwing that special 1 over and over. And then when I'm certain that SB2 is gonna kill, I'll go for it. But you guys, I showed her against a rank 4 Sentinel, and it was like under a minute, if I recall correctly. Like, that's pretty damn good. And so that's what I would go from there. She's very, very smooth. She has a simple playstyle for today's game, and I really think she's gonna, just like Bastion, I think all these champions are still gonna be in the top, at least top 30. Okay, you can just kind of go with that from the rest of these. She's definitely gonna be in the top 30. Something's gone wrong on this game if Ironheart's not in the top 30 when we do this again in December. Let's go ahead and move on. And I'm putting up Jack-o'-lantern. The reason why Jack-o'-lantern is higher for me than Ironheart is I like Battlegrounds. I really do, right? Like right now I think of in Quantum 1 and this like invading meta, which is just ridiculous. It feels absurd. It feels like they should bring with the bobbleheads, the big heads, but it's fun and there is some skill to it. I'm not gonna say there's not, right? And so I do enjoy it. I just can't play it all day. And so I end up where I end up, and that's it. And he's fast. He's faster than Shuri in a Battlegrounds health pool. The health pools get bigger, Shuri's gonna be a lot faster because Jack has like a determined loop that ends and like a cash out off the special too, more or less. Shuri can just keep going and just keep ramping, okay? Jack though has the same thing where he can parry the non-contact attacks. He's got an incinerate too, I believe it is, he's an immunity to incinerate and reverse controls, which Shuri also has as well. And that is being asked. Think about like Jean Grey, they are the hard counters. His incinerate, or I think it does turn into a plasma against. Let me check this. Yes, he does have he has one of those abilities that where the incinerate will become a plasma against mutants. Can be helpful for champions like Dust, right? He's a phenomenal onslaught counter. He could even go outside the class wheel if the defender is not immune to poison or incinerate. If they're immune to one of them, I think he does suffer significantly, but you can use him without that. And he's just so good for so many of the mutants, including Betsy Braddock, Gentle. I've shown this in my Stocks Up Jack video. If you're unsure, go watch that video. Seriously, it shows you like everything that even Mr. Sinister, he is phenomenal. And so because I do think he is a faster attacker in Battlegrounds than Ironheart, I have him ranked one higher, but guys, honestly, this is like its own special little tier, okay? And he'll be here, you know, in December. Moving on, it will go on to Prowler. I've already done videos on Prowler, and I know some of you just don't like him, and that's okay. In fact, I spent quite a long time not liking him either. I don't think he's necessary, okay? That's one of the really cool things about this game getting so big is that none of these champions are necessary. None of them. If you don't like the way they play, do not rank them. He does want the high sig. I think if you play him without the awakened ability and you like him and you just want to do a lot more damage, you wake him, you take him to Sig 200, and he's ending most fights you're using him for in 1 SB2, or possibly, you know, he's still got the falter up and you can go in and just beat them when they stand up and it ends. See my Prowler video. I'm going to be getting out a short here very soon with him in it. Probably like a couple in the next week or two. He's phenomenal. Remember, he's got bleed and incinerate immunity and falter immunity, which I have shown. He has his own falter, which is extremely helpful, not only to creating openings, but if you make a mistake like I did against Jean Grey, you can spec into Collar Attack and get a nice critical damage rating. You do want him at high sig though. I just happen to think he is absolutely worth it, and you really didn't need to put the 6 stones into Ironheart or Jack-o'-lantern. I personally do think Bastion does want it if you want him to be a real Battlegrounds nuke. When I tested him, I wanted that high sig for that Fury. But right now, Prowler, remember Prowler even has the Pursuit. His medium attacks, I think, just can't be evaded. They also are non-contact. And then he's got the Pursuit off of the SP1. Again, if you don't believe in Prowler, you don't like him, and you're at least curious, having your mind changed, or you've pulled him and you're like wondering, watch my video on Prowler as a playlist. You can check it out. And if you still don't like him, you're all good. But he's right there for me for now. I very much do believe, though, that there is a possibility that in December, he's at the bottom of this tier. Just being fully transparent with you. That's how good I think all these tech champions are. And with that, we move on to the final one. And the thing with future Ant-Man is, as a 6-star, he made the Necropolis Challenge fun for me. The Mystical Beings, I think it was called. He was so good. His ability to prevent the defender from ever throwing special. Now, the issue with that, though, is, yes, it was his abilities, but it was also the summoner, being me in this case, being extremely good with the short combo and immediately holding block, and then the AI playing ball with me, which in this game, you often don't want to rely on the AI playing ball with you, right? Even when you've got like the Surging Swarm like he does, which actually makes the defender more aggressive. I also feel like the game is moving more and more to an RPG ask, and he actually has none. It's really interesting. That I think gives you an insight into how well made he is, how powerful he is, how much a highly skilled summoner can get out of him. But he's not immune to reverse controls. He doesn't have pursuit passives. He doesn't turn off mist. All of these things I just mentioned about Bastion, about Ironheart, about Jack-o'-lantern, Prowler, he doesn't have. He's just got a bunch of power control and some damage off of it. His awakened ability is really very defensive or offensive if you want to take bleed and incinerates, but it's helpful for you as a dual threat in Battlegrounds on the defensive side. So in a way, again, if the game continues to move this way, and if the mutants continue to ask for these counters, and you start to run out of the big bad defenders that he can take, or at least the percentage of them that he can take gets smaller, he's going to fall down the list, and it'll just be what we talk about all the time in this channel, is like the meta. I actually think he is the most susceptible of all of the tech champions I just mentioned, actually falling down, not out of the top 15. It'll be a long time. I'm sorry, not out of the top 30. I think it'll be a very long time before that happens. But out of the 15 in December, he is the one, although he's the most powerful now, he's the one that, in my opinion, I think could actually fall out. It's just that's a lot of prognostication, and I am making this tier list based on what we know now, right? So there you go. If you want a dual threat in Battlegrounds, he's your best. And I do feel like there's a little bit of a tier here from those tech champions where the blunt force power of them gets a little bit stronger. Okay, so let's kind of think of them as like the second tier. And I do have this champion. I've not ranked her up because I just have not put the time into getting highly skilled with her. To me, Tiger's not a champion that you want to just casually pick up and think you're gonna like have fun and play. I don't think you will. I really don't. You want to know the spacing, but if you get that spacing down, she is fantastic. She's blunt force powerful. She has one of the best neutralizers in the game, 100% potency, and it's on every hit. Okay, she can get to her ruptures off, like she lands her heavy, right? And then you hold the heavy and you miss the specials and you destroy things, and then you throw a special too and they detonate. She sounds incredibly simple. It's about the skill of the summoner and learning the spacing. And if you do that, you are very, very richly rewarded. I do think the game will eventually move on from her because of what we just said about future Ant-Man. She does have the neutralize, so she has a bit more, in my opinion, of a hard RPG counter built into her that she does with her abilities. But if and when that stops being asked for as much, or more and more neutralized champions come along that maybe have other RPG abilities in there, I do think Tiger will fall off. But she's number 7. I have her in the second tier of this in the whole champions of the game, as far as she's just so blunt force powerful. That's not happening anytime soon. You do want her awakened, ideally at as high a sig as possible, as close to 200 as you can possibly get, because it allows her to start with the senses and keep them. And she's really designed to be just an absolute nuke. And when she works, God, she works. We'll move on to number 6, which in my opinion is the ending of this kind of second tier here, and is none other than Mr. Sinister. When you can stun, he's about as good as it gets. He's simple. He will heal up for you. He helps you out with the critical hits. You hold your heavy. I've shown this multiple times. I believe on the thumbnail for him, I wrote like, how is this legal? And I realized, because I was like, is he going to get nerfed? Like, I don't think so. No, they knew what they're doing. And I have mine at Sig 200. I do think that's very helpful. I've been over his signature ability so many times. If you just want to play him and just kind of have him in Battlegrounds, you don't need him awakened. If you want to be a better dual threat in Battlegrounds, or you want to use him over the course of a quest, you want him awakened at a higher sig, okay? The science one still doesn't work. I don't know if it's ever going to work. It's Kabam. Does anyone really know? And he's even immune to taunt and reverse controls. Reverse controls keeps coming up, so he's phenomenal for that. He's just a ridiculous champion. He even has incredible synergy partners if you want to pair him up. I've shown this in a tremendous amount of things. The only way he gets turned off is if a node is stun immune. That's about it. He's not shutting down evade or anything like that, although he does have the beefy concussion. But we talked about a champion where if you want to utilize your utility It's different than their damage loop. This is very different than their damage loop. So I don't really ever think of them for that. It's the SP1 over and over, and kind of almost as good as Kate as far as the damage it has achieved and the simplicity of play. Almost as good as Kate. Almost. Except Kate's also shutting off evade while she does it. And I think she's even got an anti-miss now that I think about it. So he's like a quarter of Kate. All right, now let's go ahead and move on, and you can play Kate and send me matches. All right, let's go and move on to the highest tier. For me, these are the champions where it honestly feels like Kabam was like, why don't you give him a little extra? Yeah, you know what? Go back to the cupboard, pick out 5 extra abilities and throw them on there, and let's tune those numbers up a little bit, boys. Let's gas this. Like, I love it. I'm glad they do it. You saw me. I was like, I'm gonna go and get NeCo. I'm gonna try. I did set a limit, and I stuck with it. I got very lucky. But I was like, I haven't done an opening in years, like this. Anyways, I went out and I got NeCo. She is so absurdly fun to play. She is so absurdly fun to play. And I mean this. If Serpent did not exist, I think she would still be this fun. I don't think Kabam needed to create Serpent to create the power of NeCo. I really don't. I think you can do this with a series of Dust sort of defenders and Jean Greys and Mr. Sinisters. You know, you've got Dark Phoenix, right? You have Maestro, the Cosmic Defender, right? And she would still be amazing. She has the Halt off her SP1. If you don't know what that is opponents act as if they were not unstoppable. She has the buff immunity. I tell you, it feels powerful, but it's one ability. It's fine. It's not Kate Cold Snap off the SP1 just murdering everything and building up over the course of a Necropolis fight. It just controls buffs. There's all kinds of passives in the game, and Kabam has done a great job of building the game bigger and bigger and bigger. NeCo is not going to take every fight for you. There's a lot she can take, and you do need to play her well, but her loop is so damn good. And she's got these pre-fights. I love her. I've done videos on her. I will get out a rank 3 showcase when I think it's, people want to see it. If you want to see it, will you let me know? My sense is people are probably like, okay, you did the enchant video, you've done some shorts, you've talked about her a lot, we're good for now. If you guys want to see it, I will get it out. She's been destroying things. She's been as good as advertised. Her pre-fights even give her some immunities. It is only for a single fight, but hey, Battlegrounds, tough fights in questing, that's often one fight, right? War, one fight. They just made a whole map where it's just one fight. So she's great. She's bonkers. I put her in this tier of the Brokens. They went back. They got extra. They got 2 servings of dessert and dinner. Okay. She's number 5. And honestly, I think she could possibly be moving up. We'll just see how this goes. The next of the absolutely broken, clearly went back and got second helpings of dinner and dessert is none other than Photon. Now, the science class is so absurdly strong, but as you know, I take a lot of time when I do these rankings. I do the rankings, I think about it, I wait a couple days. I usually show like 1 or 2 people who I trust to kind of get my way of thinking and do things and to advise me based on that. And then another day or 2 goes by. These top 30s have been sitting here for about 2 weeks. And when I really was time to do science, because I debated over and over and over, I was like, what am I doing? There's one champion. She's just extra. Her damage isn't as good as Red Guardians, I guess. If Red Guardian's an A+, she's like an A-, like a B+. But everything else is just ridiculous, especially when you keep in mind she's also a good defender in Battlegrounds. The SIG is almost purely for defensive use in Battlegrounds, except it also makes her immune to neutralize. So you can take Rintras. She has a heavy that allows her Sunder, removing the crit resistance of champions like Rintra or Dr. Doom, or literally anyone. Her first and third light attacks inflict an energy vulnerability debuff, and her damage is energy. So this is working out very, very, very well for you in doing what she is trying to do. She can parry non-contact attacks just out of the box. Her medium attacks can't miss. And then when she goes into her, like her full-on damage mode, she just flat out can't miss. She has the miss off of her, I believe it is her SP2, and if you punish opponent specials, you like pause your fury buffs in your like huge damage mode. I think we're kind of getting close to all the things that she can do. She even has a taunt, which in this game where the AI and waiting for the AI and trying to get the AI with her specials is one of the biggest pain points for so many players. She's got that. If you for some reason need to heal, that's right. She's even got a heal, right? Yeah, I used it the other day. Off of her SP3, she's got that. And then she has the built-in thing. Hold on, let me find it. There it is. Whenever the opponent is inflicted with a debuff, Photon inflicts a non-stacking Petrify. Guess what? Photon inflicts debuffs. So she's even got this Petrify. That's a passive, so it cannot be shrugged. Like, she's got so much extra built in. And what's really clever about it is, like, instead of saying she's immune to falter, the attacks just can't miss, right? And so, like, when you initially read it, you start to kind of get a sense of all the things in, but then over time playing her, you're like, she can do that too. Oh my God, she can, oh my God. You don't have this like long list of abilities per se, or like named abilities. You just have a long laundry list of all the threats and things she can take in this game that defenders and nodes ask. I did the video on her calling her like the perfect champ, and I kind of, no, I literally mean it. And then now we'll get on to number 3 in my rankings, another just OP broken champion that has so much extra in their kit. It's fun. I love it. I think you do want Deathless Thanos at high sig. I did not enjoy playing him nearly as much at Unawakened as I did at Sig 200. I put all the stones directly into him, and in CCP testing, I was like, dude, this guy is he's the best cosmic champion. As those of you who are really keen know, there's one more coming up. And yeah, I'm okay getting that one a little bit wrong. This is a champion that is actually immune to Kate Bishop's cold snap damage, so that's cool. Maybe there's a chance to be coming. He even has the protection stacks in case you play a little poorly or make some mistakes, but don't worry, he has a heal off of his SP1 in case that doesn't go so well for you. He can go unstoppable. He has this panic debuff, which means opponents cannot evade or miss. He has the counter punch charge to get openings in case it's a stun immune node, or in case you need to land an intercept. He has the passive stun where you pulverize armor, but if that's not enough, you can even get the armor shatter debuff to just make them all go away. The SP1 gives him furies. And then the SP2's got this corrosion and this big damage. And the SP3, I think, if I remember correctly, was for the longer fight loop. Again, when you read through all this, you're like, my man got extra helping to dinner and dessert as well. He's ridiculous. He's awesome. I love playing him. He's a ton of fun. I don't like fighting him because I tend to hit into his block, and I don't like doing the same thing over and over and baiting. But he's obviously a very good Battlegrounds defender as well. And then we get on to the number 2 champion. And I honestly thought about putting him 1. I did. But what ended up being the difference for me with Onslaught is I think Onslaught is significantly more difficult to play. In his like most ideal matchup, like let's say Korg, I guess, maybe, he's pretty simple to play. Otherwise, you're looking for a lot of avenues to land your heavies and things like that. I know a lot of people do not enjoy playing him. I remember he's got the Neuroshock debuff, which will also counter miss. He has the resistances to the various, I think it is like energy damage, incoming bleed, and shock potency is reduced by 150%. So you're just like laughing at some energy damages coming in there, right? He's got the plus ability accuracy on his debuffs against skilled champions. If a personal debuff or the stun from the parry master is purified, prevented due to debuff immunity, you re-inflict it, the debuff as a passive. Like this guy is he's just got it, man. He's just got it. He took the mutant class so far ahead. The Kabam's been able to put out, I think, 6 mutants since then. And none of them are like in his like full on space as far as power is concerned. And they've felt very healthy for the game. And yet they've still been some of the best mutants, right? We got Dazzler, Mr. Sinister, Jean Grey. Gentle, and Dust, right? And these are like literally, they were all in my top 10 video on mutants. And so that shows you just how far ahead Onslaught was. And again, he's just so much fun. Like when there's problems, he comes and he solves them for me. And then we get to the number one, the most busted ridiculous. He's nonsense on defense, but he's nonsense on offense, right? The only thing this guy does not do great is quickly do damage. That's literally it. His damage ramps to absurd levels. He has a power gain buff that you just get. You don't have to do anything. You can literally just stand there and avoid the defender and not hit them so they don't gain power. And you just gain power on your own. It's ridiculous. I've shown it multiple times. You throw us, I'm not kidding, you throw your special into their block, which used to be a skill asked to not do. And he will block break that for you. He has the true, I can't even think of what it's called, the true something buff that's like stopping evade and miss. So this guy's stopping evade, you miss, and auto block on specials. And if that's not enough, off of his SP1, which is the special you just throw over and over and over and over, he puts on something called Fear, which will prevent the ability, 100% minus the ability actually, of unblockables from the opponent. So you don't have to deal with unblockables, either basics or specials. And it's not class balanced out at all. He's even got the Pierce for future Ant-Man if you want it. He's a thing, man. If they have armor ups, go to your special too. You'll do more damage. That's it. Then this was the top 30. I really think, especially this highest tier, man, they're gonna be you say no way, but you know, Kabam put out a bunch of them just last year, just put out Nico now. So we might get another one over the course of the year. We will find out. We will see. There could be some another champion or two that comes out that makes their way into the top 15, or someone in the top 16 or 30 could force their way in just by, again, meta ask and us getting to know them better. I could see this one took a little bit longer, but it was the top 15 in the whole game. I want to take some fun, have some fun with it, really talk to you guys about those tech champions, because I know you all have been asking about them, so I wanted to help you out. As usual, though, let me know what you think I got right. Let me know what you think I got wrong. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.